It's been a while, but the beam is lit. 128 to 107. The Kings taking advantage of the Blazers without two key players, and they did what they had to do. They really won this game in the first half. I like the way they started the game, and so they head out onto the road with a W, a much-needed W, because they jump back in front of Dallas for ninth. The Mavs are 10th, and a long road trip, Ryno, a 6-game road trip opens up in Orlando over the weekend.
Yep, big road trip, team effort, constant moving forward, pushing the other team back for the most part. So good way to end it at 3-4, Grant, on the homestand.
So we'll talk a lot about this game. We'll talk about the upcoming road trip. We invite your phone calls, your messages, as we will take you through the post-game show right here on If You Don't Like That. And we haven't really talked that positively about Zach LaVine lately. We can tonight. He was very effective.
Yep, looked really good, very confident, getting to the hoop, not hesitating, also crisp passing. I think part of that too, Grant, was the floor spacing and the fact that Coach Christie played a little bit more minutes with him and DeMar off the court together. Did you like that?
I did like that. I thought it was very good. And I also wanted to get to the fact that Keon Ellis was inserted into the starting lineup, even though Malik Monk was officially listed as a starter. When the coaches have to hand in their starters to the official score before the game, Malik Monk's name was on the sheet, but he didn't start. It'll be interesting to hear what Doug Christie has to say after the game.
Yeah, and even more interesting, I guess I'll ask you this. Keon Ellis only scored 10 points. He was a plus 20 tonight, which is tied for the team high. I thought Keon did an excellent job of getting the Kings into their offense. He is not a true point guard, but he was the closest thing that we have seen in a little bit to do that. I know it was against a bad team, but the question is, has tonight possibly earned him another opportunity for Coach Christie to see it again?
I don't know. The fact that Malik Monk only played 17 minutes tells me that this was done due to his conditioning. He's been sick all week. And we're going to find out either after the game when Doug is asked that question in a couple of moments, or when the Kings start their road trip in Orlando. But I think that tonight's move was probably more predicated on Malik's lack of conditioning, been sick. You know, he was questionable leading up to the game. You have to remember that as well.
Yeah, he looked pretty good. Looked a little bit lighter in the face. You could tell that he had not been feeling well. I guess, did you like, though, regardless, more of a balance with having Keon into that starting lineup? And if you're Doug Christie, how do you negotiate that, regardless if it is something that was due to illness, like we're talking about?
It's a good question. I also would tell you that Malik's been out the last couple of games, and we saw some issues that were plaguing the team. You know, it's all very interesting in this sense. There is no easy answer to all of this. There's no like, well, gee, if you do this, the Kings are going to all of a sudden be a really good team. It's not that simple. You know, I mean, they still have deficiencies. They still have issues. Is Keon a better fit with this unit? You've talked about this a lot. You've talked about different combinations with the analytics and the numbers. I just know this. We shouldn't have to go on a post-game show and talk about Keon Ellis only playing 18 minutes.
Yeah.
Like we did during one of the losses on this homestand. That's what we shouldn't have to talk about.
Yep, it's an excellent point. At what point has this young man cemented himself into the fabric of this team? And I can only assume that the Keon Ellis fans out there, the pushing ones that want to see him start, that's only going to get inflamed even more after tonight, the way the
exactly. And that's what the talk's going to be. Probably a good time for the Kings to get out of town. Just get the hell out of Dodge. I mean, it's no, it is. I really mean that.
Well, explain that. Explain that.
Well, there's been a lot of nastiness during this homestand, a lot of negativity. You know, we saw a game on national TV where there were a lot of empty seats against Oklahoma City, right?
Yeah.
We saw a rousing start to this homestand, and I will speak for myself, and then I'll ask you for your opinion. After the home win against the Cavaliers, that was the most upbeat, excited, positive fan base that the Kings have exhibited this year, other than maybe the win at Boston. Like the fans were just like, wow, they know it was a signature win. And then the Kings end up losing 4 in a row. And with it came a lot of negativity. You had Wes Wilcox leave, which I'll get to in a moment.
Yeah.
You had, Vivek once again getting dumped on as he deserves to. You've got a lot of speculation on what's going on. You had some interesting comments from Zach LaVine in the locker room that had to be squelched by Doug Christie, even though I think that was a mountain out of a molehill. You just had a lot of stuff going on. And I think maybe it's just good for this team to get on the road where, by the way, they play better on the road than they do at home anyway.
It is very true. And to Matthew's point, Zach is back. I'm not ready to say that. That's his second really good game in how many Sacramento games?
Yeah, stupid comment. Sorry, Matthew, but stop it. 128 to 107 is the final. We invite your phone calls and everything else right here on the postgame show. And then the Kings hit the road for 6 beginning this weekend in Orlando against a team that has very difficult matchups with Banchero and Wagner in particular. So we'll see if the Kings are able to respond in that game. The Mavs, by the way, now fall back behind Sacramento with the Kings winning tonight. They're neck and neck. And you kind of get the impression that Phoenix might not even be in the damn dance with their schedule upcoming. And that's fine with me. I'd rather see Dallas if I'm Sacramento than Phoenix.
Yep, I'm with you 100%. Get in here besides the chat. We love those. But get in with your phone calls. You can use the QR code that's on the screen. Hit the link that is circulating in the chat. We appreciate you being here, PK. Thanks for kicking us off.
Hey, boys.
Hey there.
Hey, congrats on the win. Let me ask you this, dude. What is our tolerance level on how Sabonis is treated by freaking referees? It's been like 3 years. This guy looks like a raccoon half the season, and he gets called for freaking pick and roll fouls and dumb fouls. And this guy is just like a workhorse. He just wants to play, and he doesn't complain. And you know what? You know what DC said? DC said earlier in the season, Grant, he goes, let me handle the refs and you guys go play. How many technical fouls does Doug Christie have this season?
I think only 1 or 2, right?
I don't think he has any.
Oh, yeah. I think he has 1. Doesn't he have 1?
We got to ask Mr. X's and O's over there.
Yeah, I don't recall Doug being teed up off the top of my head, but I'll check.
I think this is a minor issue. I don't think this is really a big deal.
No, but I think if DC wants to be a coach, he needs to like set a tone. Like at a halftime, if something's like going off, if he notices that refs are being weak or something like that, I want to see him run on the court and be like, I'm protecting my team. I'm a leader and I will get kicked out if I have to, if you guys screw with my boy Sabonis. Like how the Sabonis has stitches. I mean, like, coach has to protect his players.
So a couple things really quick, PK. Doug has no technicals this season per
That's my
AI
point.
on Google, but I will say this. Your teammates need to be tougher. You have to play a more physical brand as a team to start getting, I think, a few more of those calls. The screens where the hips are coming out, that's part him. That's part the guards not using the screen correctly. But Grant, you've said this numerous times. Doug's going to be Doug. He's not going to be somebody he's not.
He can't be. Doug didn't get technicals when he played. He didn't argue with the officials when he played. You can't expect him to be, on the sideline now and be Tommy Heinsohn. That's not his personality.
Yeah.
Or be Tom Thibodeau. I mean, that's not his personality, and he's not going to just all of a sudden change his personality.
But Grant, also last time I called, I think you kind of like energized me, and when I asked you about the level of talent, because I think Grant, from your experience, you can recognize talent. That's why you like Sabonis. And when I asked you about like last 20 years, what this team looks like to you versus like last 20 years, you said that this is a very talented team. So we need a general. Like a coach has to be a
I think
dog.
you're making way too much out of this. I think you're making
Yeah.
this a
Maybe I'm
you're blowing this
overthinking it.
out of
Yeah.
you're blowing this way out of proportion,
Yeah.
PK. You,
Yeah.
I'm not
Maybe I'm
saying that,
overthinking it.
I'm not saying that you're not making a point here, but I think in the totality of whether this team is good or not, or winning or losing, this is a very minor issue.
Okay. Cool. Hey, guys, I'm not gonna take over too much of your time. Can I give out 2 shout outs?
Do you have a telephone?
I'm on the phone.
Okay, why don't you use your phone and shout out your people you want to shout out
No,
to as
but can I
opposed to
give
our
two
show?
2 shout outs?
As long as you answer one question afterwards.
No,
Go ahead.
no,
Yeah, you're gonna
I'm
answer
getting
a question.
no. I want I just want 2 shout outs.
Yeah, and then you have to
I want to
answer a
give.
question.
Listen, I want to give one shout out to all the amazing people that in the chat and all the fans, and then the second shout out goes out. I want to give a shout out to Doug Christie's balls for putting Malik Monk on the bench finally. Thank you, guys.
All
Hey,
right, well,
hey.
Go ahead.
What?
You're not getting off that easy. Did you do what you said you were gonna do?
I did it.
You
Gassed out.
did. You
I'm
did.
not doing it again. Yeah.
Okay.
It's only one time.
He
One time
doubled.
thing.
He doubled down the bet on
Yeah,
last game
yeah.
for this game.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Oh,
All
PK,
right.
Yeah,
good job, buddy.
I took Wolfie's Bennis money, and
Oh,
I put it on OKC, and then I
oh,
doubled down. I said if I win that one, then I'm gonna put it on Sacramento Kings and against Portland, and
wow.
yeah, I won. So
Okay.
I'm
All
cashing
right,
out. Never doing it again. Never betting on Kings.
buddy.
Bye.
All right.
Or
See you, man.
betting against
Later,
them.
guys.
Never betting again on the Kings. Oh my goodness.
It's kind of a rare thing to say. You bet on the Kings
What he
and
was saying,
won.
I understand the point he's trying to make, but it's just not Doug's DNA. It's not who he is. It's not, and again, I don't think on the scope of things it's that big of a deal.
Well, how much do players listen to a coach when a coach says, "Let me handle it"? I mean,
Very, very rarely.
yeah. But on the back end, how can it affect it if a team feels like their coach is not standing up for them, hypothetically?
I don't think anybody in the locker room feels that way about Doug.
Yeah. Doug just it's like this karma ball, right? Very
Yeah.
holistic. Make sure the energy is right. Very interesting comments before the game, by the way. I sent those to you, Grant.
Yep.
He talked about having 3 different teams, an offensive team, a defensive team, and a mix of both.
Well, he needs to just find one team that's a better team than they've been, instead of like talking about defense, offense, and whatever the hell else the third one was.
Special teams.
Yeah, I mean, come on. You know what? Again, this is just all nonsense. It's just nonsense. It's a way that he has to answer questions to fulfill his obligation. It's all stupid. It's all jibberjash.
Okay, well, what's not nonsense is Wes Wilcox has officially moved on to the University of Utah. And as of the last couple days, Vlade Divac's name has been popping up a little bit more here in Sacramento.
Listen, Vlade is an employee of the Sacramento Kings. He was rehired as basically on the business side, not the basketball side. All right. He made it very clear when he accepted the position that he would not have anything to do with basketball operations. And here's something else. Before he took the position, he called Monty McNair. I know this because I was with Vlade. And he said, I called Monty and I said, hey, listen, the Kings want me to do this. I'm not coming in to, oversee you. I'm not coming on to step on your toes. I'm not going to have anything to do with, if you need me, you can always call me. I'll always try to help you if you have any questions, what have you. So it was completely open dialogue. And Vlade said to Vivek, I'm not accepting any job if you're expecting me to do anything counter to what Monty McNair's doing. He was very open about that.
Okay.
Now, have things changed between my last conversation with Vlade and today? I can't answer that.
Yeah.
But I do know that the Kings right now are an unstable organization because they have an owner that doesn't know what he's doing. And when you have the morning host of your flagship station basically saying that Vivek needs to sell the team, and I'm talking about Carmichael Dave, because I was told that by several people, that speaks volumes of what's really going on for a host on the flagship station of the team to say that.
Yeah, no, it certainly does. I mean, I think that we've seen a lot of that sentiment here on our channel from a lot of the comments, the callers. We've had frustrations about Vivek. You've said things will not change without Vivek. So how does that change the dynamic when Dave goes on the radio and says it?
It just stimulates more hostility towards the owner from the fan base. That's really what it does. We're not yet to the John Fisher perspective, the owner of the Oakland A's.
Well, he's the opposite. Vivek's out in front of
formerly
everything.
of the Oakland A's, now the A's. But the one thing I do know, and I think that you would concur with this, Sacramento fans have been through a lot, and they have only had one playoff appearance since 2006. And if this team continues to underachieve, and I think we can all agree that has been the case this year, the heat is going to be coming towards Vivek in ways that he can't imagine. And when it happens, it will be a tidal wave. Okay? And he will not be able to withstand it. That much I do know about the Sacramento fan base.
Is it the underachieving or is it the circus behind the scenes? Because I think the two can be mutually exclusive.
They can, but I also think they're mutually related. Okay,
Sure.
I think you're correct, but I think it's a domino effect.
Yeah,
So,
I think in this case it is. Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, so I think it's a fair question. I think it's a question that we need to explore, but the dysfunction among the league in their perception of the Kings. I said that wrong. The Kings' dysfunction is talked about within the league circles among front office executives, among coaches. And when players leave Sacramento, do you think De'Aaron Fox left Sacramento and went to San Antonio and told all of his teammates, you know what, if you ever leave here, you got to go to Sacramento. It's a great franchise.
No, of course. He was telling his future teammates that he didn't want them to come there.
When Kevin Huerter went to Chicago, do you think he's told all of his teammates, hey, you know what, if you become free agent, go to Sacramento. It's a great place. You'd love playing there. And what I mean by that, I'm talking about in terms of success. All right. Do you think that when coaches get fired and assistant coaches leave to go to other programs, what do you think they're telling other coaches? I know this for a fact. This is not just my opinion. I'm still very close with many former Kings coaches in the league. I still talk with them on a fairly regular basis, head coaches and assistant coaches.
Uh-huh.
I speak with a lot of national media members on a regular basis who cover the NBA. I still am friends with current NBA players who played in Sacramento and don't anymore. I already know what's going on because I talk to them to reinforce what I think I know what's going on, and they all concur. This is a mess right now, and it does start at the top. And even if it's not reality to the point that I'm putting it out as reality, let's just say that I'm a little bit wrong.
Yeah.
It's the perception
right
around
Great
the
point.
league and among the agents that is even more important than what the main reality may be. Does that make sense?
100%. Because there's already the perception of Sacramento, regardless of the glory days. Not much there.
Yeah.
Cowtown, don't want to go play there.
Yeah.
So you almost have to be twice as good to get that. But let me ask you this, though. If that's the perception amongst other owners in NBA circles, what point where's the line between owners pushing back and saying this isn't good for our bottom line and then just letting it go?
Owners don't interfere with other owners. They don't interfere with other owners unless it's detrimental to the league. And there's nothing the other owners could do anyway. Owners stay out of that domain. James Dolan has been a horrible owner for the number one market in New York of the Knicks. The other owners didn't gang up on him. When Donald Sterling was the worst owner in the NBA, the other owners didn't gang up on him and say, you've got to sell. That doesn't happen. The other owners stick to, making money and their team. They use the Board of Governors meetings when it comes time to vote on issues. That's how they use their voice. But in terms of attacking another owner, that doesn't happen. In terms of trying to oust another owner, that doesn't happen.
I wonder how much the A's being here in Sacramento and Vivek's attention to that with this circus going on, perceived circus going on behind the scenes, is hurting things with the fans. I can't imagine that it's helping when you have a basketball team that's a mess and you're pushing the agenda of another team.
I don't think Kings fans care. I think Kings fans, if the team was winning, they wouldn't give a damn what's going on with the A's.
But they're not. That's the thing.
I know. But so do we bring in other aspects of what's going on to enforce our argument of how bad things are when one has nothing to do with the other? Like, I don't think that has anything to do with what's going on with the Kings.
But does it show a lack of focus? Like, you're at a buffet, you put way too much food on your plate than you can eat. You know what I'm saying?
The best case scenario for Sacramento would be for Vivek to be completely occupied in another area, so he can't be that focused on the Kings. That's how the team would get better.
Unless he delegates to a family member. But yeah, you're right.
Well, so this is an interesting topic, and it's going to get me to a rant with Grant, and it is brought to you by EDH Motors, Automotive Reimagined. David and Adam, two guys trying to do something different and better. They are looking to sell your vehicle. You've got their phone number there and their email. So if you want to sell your vehicle, give them a call. And if you are not looking to sell a vehicle, but you're looking to purchase, go to their website at edhmotors.com. If you don't find what you're looking for, no problem. Contact David and Adam. They'll get it for you with their decades of automotive experience. That's edhmotors.com. That's EDH Motors, Automotive Reimagined. Get in touch with them when it comes to selling or buying your vehicle, and you'll take delivery at their beautiful auto lounge at the El Dorado Hills Town Center. So let me get this straight. Wes Wilcox. Do you even know who Wes Wilcox is? I mean, and I'm being honest here. Like, how many fans that are watching us right now and throughout the years could tell us anything about Wes Wilcox? So Wes Wilcox leaves for a collegiate job in Utah. By the way, he was the assistant general manager. And Wes Wilcox writes a thank you message to the Sacramento community and basically made it seem like Vivek Ranadive is the greatest owner in professional sports. Talked about Doug Christie and his head coaching ability, brought in the co-presidents of the Sacramento Kings, thanked them, the business side of the organization, obviously the fans. And I was looking at a lot of the comments on social media, and the fans ripped him a new one. By the way, the Kings' official statement about Wes Wilcox was 2 sentences. 2. I believe 2. We wish you the very best in the future. Thank you. That's basically what the Sacramento Kings message was. What kind of like, I understand that you don't want to burn bridges when you leave. I'm all for that. But I mean, Wes went way over the top, like ridiculous. Like, it was so phony and so stupid that he got destroyed on social media. I'm thinking to myself, what did Wes Wilcox think he was doing here? Like, did he think he was running the entire franchise? Like, Did he think that fans talk about him and even knew who he was? To write that kind of thank you and basically put Vivek Ranadive on the Mount Rushmore of sports owners and put Doug in the Coaching Hall of Fame and Matina and John, like, I couldn't believe it. So you know what? Good for him that he got ripped. He deserved to get ripped on that. It was way over the top. It was just phony as hell. It was just and good for the Kings to respond with a 2-sentence goodbye. We wish you well. Bye-bye. And that's my rant for tonight.
You, my friend.
That's terrible.
Are killing me. And you're spot on. The response was 2 sentences. So let's talk this. Who had a worse exit? Wes Wilcox's goodbye or Mark Jones's goodbye to Twitter?
Oh my God. Don't even get me started on him, please, would you? Like, you're going to ruin my night. Kings just won. The beam's lit. Now you're trying to ruin my evening. Why would you do that? I'm your buddy. Am I not your buddy?
You are my buddy. We're in this together. But I guess the point is, why are they all so out of touch? How does one group so out of touch come together?
Incredible. Just, again, I hate to say this. I really do mean this. That's all part of the Kings' dysfunction, right? Is when you bring up Mark Jones' name. It's all the same. You have your color analyst embarrassing the referees on a nightly basis, right? To a point where it's a real problem. Nothing's done about it. We can just go on and on and on. This is not anti-Doug, because Doug really is doing the best job he can do under the situation. But when you have Sam Amick, who's a very respected NBA journalist from The Athletic, after the De'Aaron Fox trade, and get into Vivek with his daughter and her boyfriend, Jeremy Lamb, and if you don't think that they're involved when it comes to decision-making, you're naive with a capital N. That's the biggest problem with the Kings. They are a circus, okay? It's not a professional franchise. It is a circus. The fact that Vivek would have his daughter involved in any way, shape, or form with the organization on the basketball side of things is an embarrassment, okay? There's no other way to say it. It's embarrassing. And, Sam alluded to certain aspects of what was going on as it pertains to Jeremy Lamb. Jeremy Lamb should have zero say with anything that's going on in Sacramento. Angelique should have zero say, should not even be asked for her opinion on what's going on in Sacramento. It's an embarrassment. And again, I talk about the perception around the league and what this does. The Kings they become the laughingstock again of the NBA. It's just like they're being made fun of. You look at social media, just look at the Kings fans, look at the comments after Sam's story that came out, right? It's just bad. It's bad. And so we always talk about the future, Ryan.
Yeah.
We talk about, do Kings fans have any confidence about the future? How could you have confidence about the future when you look at all of the coaches that have been hired by Vivek, fired by Vivek with multiple years on their contract, guys that just received new deals, such as Mike Brown, such as Luke Walton, such as Vlade Divac? I mean, the ink was barely dry on their contracts and they got fired. I mean, you're wasting money. You're throwing money down the toilet. You don't know what you're doing. You don't hire the right people. Are you going to fire Monty McNair? And if so, who's going to come in and replace him and be able to have autonomy, who's going to be able to run the franchise the way they want? I mean, we're hearing rumors about Vlade Divac. Why would Vlade want to come back and put his hand into the basketball side of things? I already know the answer to that question.
Well,
that's, I know Vlade. I already know the answer.
Okay, so that's the question that a lot of people earlier were kind of poking at.
I already know the answer to that question because I've had hours and hours of conversations with Vlade on this topic. Vlade wants to leave his legacy by making the Sacramento Kings a perennial playoff team. He didn't do that. And it is a void for him, but not in the sense that he was jumping with another chance to do it. Vlade does not like to fail in anything. It's not his life. It's not how he goes about things. I know this to be the case, and I'm not defending Vlade here because we all know that the Kings made one of the biggest blunders in NBA draft history when they didn't take Luka Doncic. Now, you can also say, well, there's a lot to that story because the Phoenix Suns didn't take him either, and either did the Atlanta Hawks. But I know Vlade because we've had many conversations about this. And I don't know what's going on with Monty McNair because I haven't met Monty, but I know what's going on because I lived through it. There were so many things that Vlade Divac wanted to do that he was prevented from doing. He had trades lined up that would have been great for this team that were interfered by the owner. The DeMarcus Cousins trade to New Orleans would have been much better had the owner not interfered, delayed the process, and then New Orleans changing the proposal of the trade after hours went by while the owner was twiddling his thumbs. I have many examples of this, and I can only assume that continued currently under Monty McNair. So until the owner, in this case Vivek Ranadive, decides that he's going to hire a general manager and allow that general manager to do what he sees fit, both with the coaching staff and the team, until that day arrives, we are going to go through this nasty cycle of look good, look bad, hire this person, fire that person, and we can go on and on and on. That's the reality of the situation. That's it in a nutshell. That's the reality of the situation. But if I'm Vlade Divac, Vlade knows Vivek better than anybody in the Kings organization.
Yeah,
I'm comfortable in saying that. I don't know why Vlade would even want to be back in a situation where he has to deal with the headaches. And trust me when I say this, constant headaches, and I mean constant. I don't know why he would want to do that again, knowing full well that the task would be an impossible one. Doesn't make sense to me.
Well, let me ask you this then. If he's so important on legacy and Luka aside, if there were things that were interfered with and there's been negative experiences with this owner, why come back and work on the business side for this owner?
He is extremely close. First of all, he loves Sacramento and loves the Kings. So let me just start there, okay?
Sure.
Vlade feels that with his presence in the organization, Vlade always feels he can fix stuff. Vlade feels like you can stop wars. Like Vlade thinks this way.
Yeah.
Like if you put him in charge, he'll stop wars. He feels he can fix things. Vlade's greatest strength is bringing people together. It's why the Kings were so good when he played, because he kept Chris Webber stable. Trust me when I say this. Vlade's greatest strength is people and bringing people together. His greatest strength is having people work together. His greatest strength is having people put their differences aside and make it work as best as it can. He came back to the organization because he felt that he could help them. On the business side, he's extremely close with Matina. He's extremely close with John Reinhart. He's close with a lot of people, and he actually has a very good relationship with Monty McNair, and he has a very good relationship with Vivek Ranadive. Vlade is not a glass half empty guy. He's a glass half full guy.
Yeah.
And so I know I'm answering this in a very roundabout way. His personality is one that no matter how bad things are, he thinks he can fix it. That's how he thinks.
And sees the best in the situation rather than the worst.
And see the best in the situation. That's correct. I always tell this story. Robert Horry, game 4. I'm doing the game on radio. I'm devastated. Like I did my post-game show. I walk into the Kings locker room. Vlade comes running right up to me. He's the one that tipped the ball out to Horry.
Yeah.
If anyone should have had their head down, it's Vlade. He sees me walk into the locker room. He comes right up to me, and he says, "I told the guys, get the heads up." I said, We're okay. We're going to go back and we're going to win game 5, and we're going to come back here and we're going to win the series." He said, it's the first thing I said when we walked in the locker room. I said, "Get your heads up. Get your heads up. We're going back and winning game 5. Like, if anyone should have been down, it should have been Vlade. It's not his personality. I'll never forget that. I mean, I wasn't in the locker room more than 5 seconds.
Yeah.
When he came up to me and said that, I was just like, wow, because I was like crying. Like, I mean, I was, I'm
it was
a little bit.
Yeah,
but,
I got you. It was a big moment. I mean, and yet the guy can't get a vegetable on his plate.
No, oh no. When we go out to, he loves the cheeseburgers. We go to a restaurant, they take the order, and he's explaining to the waitress or waiter. And after like 3 or 4 times, because they're not really understanding, I said, "Hey, make believe you're serving a 4-year-old." "Okay, I got it." What does a 4-year-old not want? They don't want anything green on their plate. They don't want anything that's just they want their cheeseburger. Like meat, bun, cheese. That's it. And if it came with a garnish of like a tomato or a piece of lettuce or a pickle, he would go like that. He'd have that face. No. And I would say, "Hey, you have to take that back and get that off the plate." Like, and I would say, "Vlade, could you just pick it up with your own hand and put it off the plate?" No. No. I go, "Vlade, it's not like a poisonous snake. Vlade, could you just like push it up?" No. Can you take it back? No. Just cheese, meat, bun. Just no. Take it up. Take it away. No. I'm like, "Vlade, you see the knife right there? You could take it and just like push it off your plate." No. I can't take it, seriously.
How many in your party today? 1 adult menu and 1 kids menu, please.
I would tell that's what I would tell the waiter. Just make believe you're serving a 4-year-old.
So good. Donald, what's up? Thanks for waiting.
Hey, what's up, guys?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Always good after a win. Just real quick, I remember watching that game and the game 4 of the Western Finals, and man, dude, I just got only if Vlade just would have just grabbed that rebound instead of tipping it.
What? Yeah, but he didn't. You know what I mean? If I had 6 numbers, you had 6 numbers. If Robert Horry had been doing what he was supposed to be doing, which was going after a rebound as a power forward instead of sitting on the perimeter, there are a lot of what ifs.
Yeah, but that one's big to me. But anyway,
what if the referees called the game fairly in game 6? What about that if?
Yeah.
What if the Kings didn't miss 14 free throws in game 7? What about that if?
Yeah, many ifs. That's true.
What if the Beatles are not broken up?
Yeah.
Never mind. Go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, what if you were still announcing the games for us, Grant?
Well, they'd be a lot better. Sorry, I don't normally brag, but I'm comfortable in saying that. But go ahead.
Okay. I guess what I wanted to talk about is ask you guys, what did you guys think of Monk coming off the bench? Because to me, it seems like Monk's role is more situated coming off the bench. And
we've talked about this ad nauseum. I mean, I don't know what else we could say that we haven't been saying for the last several weeks about Keon Ellis, not weeks, maybe months. The bigger conversation that we've had with Ryan and Jerry and our callers is who should be the person that comes out of the starting lineup. That's been the bigger debate. Not whether Keon should start, but who should come out of the starting lineup.
Okay, that's true. It's fair enough. What else was I was also going to talk about Levine. He did have a good game tonight, but for me personally, for somebody who's basically getting paid the most on the team, I would like to see more consistency out of him.
Yeah, everyone would. Everyone would. And thank you very much for the call. Consistency is the name of the game, and they need to be more consistent. I'll tell you who is consistent. That's New Works Plumbing. Their business is always consistent because they are awesome at what they do. When it comes to your plumbing needs, your repairs, whatever you need with plumbing, they are there for you around the clock, 24/7. Call them. Go to sackserviceplumbing.com or newworksplumbing.com, NEWWRXplumbing.com. That's New Works Plumbing. They've got a fix for you. And again, should you need them, don't forget their name. New Works Plumbing. They've got a fix for you.
How can you forget it with the way it's spelled? So unique. Love it.
Yes, love it too. Absolutely.
Really quick, DeMar DeRozan, unsung hero tonight. 10 assists. How about that?
Yes.
10
And how
assists.
about Domantas Sabonis's rebounding? We haven't even really talked about that.
Incredible 19. Just gobbling them up. Portland actually in the first half, offensive rebounds were bad. They had, I believe, 9 or 10 at the half, and the Kings really shut that down. So,
by the way, I want to interject one thing here before we move on, because I'm reading comments, and there are many things that I know that I don't divulge, and it has to do with more of an ethical belief that I have when you work for a company. I have the majority of the stories that I've told here are a small percentage of what I know to be true. So just keep that in mind, right? Like there's many things that I have known that have gone on that would blow your freaking mind away. But I choose to keep them inside me. And will that change someday? I don't know. But for right now, I don't feel it's my responsibility or it would be right of me to talk about these things. So I don't. I hope that makes sense.
It does. It's a good setup for a book too. Wink, wink.
Well, and you know what? I have thought about that, and I've told you I've been approached about writing a book. And Jerry went through this when Jerry wrote his book. The most difficult thing when you do what we do or did is what is overstepping the boundary. Is it a tell-all book? Well, if it's a tell-all book, then there are going to be a lot of people that are going to be embarrassed or aren't going to be happy. There are tell-all books. Jerry's book was not a tell-all book, but he always jokes that his next book is going to be called Reynolds Remembers Everything, and it would come out instead of Reynolds Remembers, it would be called Reynolds Remembers Everything, and it would be published the day after he passes. Right?
Holy moly, Zimbabwe!
So
I have been approached about writing a book. First of all, I'm not going to do anything until I know the outcome of my lawsuit, because I'm not going to jeopardize anything that has to do with my lawsuit. So first and foremost, I've been very open about that. If I were to write a book, it would not occur until after my lawsuit is settled, which is still pending.
And if that were to happen, make sure you sign a contract where they can't change the name of your book like they did to Jerry.
Yes. How about that, huh?
That was they went from Reynolds Remembers to like Stories of the Kings or something like that.
Can you believe that or what?
No, awful. What's up, BJ?
What's up, guys? Hey, you know what, Mr. Napes, Mr. Redheaded Stepchild of Sucktown? I think you're showing a lot of class by not delving deep into the minutia of dysfunction. I think the fans, particularly this group, is highly knowledgeable and can read between the lines and can see the dysfunction. And you know, I come from a dysfunctional family. I think all families have some type of dysfunction. I survived it, but that's the thing, is that we're all in this together. And until Vivek, and it's kind of sad to even entertain the idea that Jeremy Lamb and his girlfriend would have any say in anything. But besides that, I've been thinking about this buyout on Levine. I think we're kind of stuck with him for at least a year or so. But what stops? And I almost answered myself. I think Vivek is making decisions in the background. What's stopping Doug from bringing Levine off the bench. I know he's getting paid the most. I know he's got a big contract, but who cares if he's upset? Maybe he wants to be moved. Maybe his body language to me, I'm not really, whether he's got personal problems or what, I understand that. We all have personal issues, but his body language comes across to me not necessarily as a personal thing, but that he's just not feeling it. It kind of seems like he doesn't want to. He's just not feeling it. I don't know. What do you
Well,
got?
I think that there's some politics going on with this. I think that Doug and Monty McNair, it would look really bad for Monty McNair to bring Zach LaVine off the bench when he was the centerpiece of this trade and he makes the most money on the team. It's going to make Monty McNair look really bad. That's my opinion. I think that has some.
And to be fair, we don't know. We're assuming he's all settled into Sacramento. You've changed city. You might still be in a hotel. I mean, there's a lot of different things that are going on there, but you got to be really cautious with this thing because he did not speak to Billy Donovan for a while. To the point, don't let that hug a couple of games ago fool you. DeMar DeRozan was the one that was the go-between, the conduit between him and the coach in Chicago. And talking about moving him, they couldn't move him. So what do you think the Kings are going to do right now? I think your hope is, if you're the Kings, and Grant, maybe this is the other reason you keep him on the court, is that he can start playing up to the level of that contract and maybe become what could be considered more or less a tradable or liquid asset. Because right now, I see him as a debt more than I see him as an asset.
At the great point. But do you guys think that the record or the overall structure of the Kings on the floor would be much different if, and this is what I wanted to do, I wanted to shut Fox down, let him get surgery, don't trade him, let's get something for the Kings first, and let whatever Fox lands, he lands, we get picks, we get another veteran, something. How much different of a we fired Mike Brown. How much of a difference of a record do you think it would have been if they would have just said, "Hey Fox, go sit down. We'll play without you. You get your surgery. We'll trade you in off season."
Assuming that you had the second round picks to trade for Valanciunas still, and you make that deal, I don't know how many more wins it gets you, Grant, but I think you see a more consistent product.
Yeah, I think consistency is what we're talking about. The lack thereof, and
structure. Some
type
of structure. Sorry to interrupt you. We're in a dysfunctional family. There's no structure. We need a leader from the top. That's Jock Sniffer Vivek. When he comes with some type of structure, I think it'll bleed down onto the floor. And my heart goes out to Vlade. He's not a good GM. He's got a great heart. I wish Vivek had a heart like him. But I'm not too high on. I love Vlade, but I'm not too keen on him coming back as a GM guy. Nothing against Vlade.
I cannot believe that Vlade would come back as a GM, and I would think that would be very unlikely. Very unlikely.
I think so. He's probably whispering in Vivek's ear, though.
You know what? He's not whispering in Vivek's ear because that's not what Vlade does. That's not Vlade Divac. That's not how Vlade lives his life. That's not how he operates. Vlade would never, listen to me, let me finish. Vlade would never step on Monty McNair's toes as long as he's employed by the Kings. It's not who he is. It's not what he's going to do. And Vlade knows what that's like because Vivek stepped on his toes with Joe Dumars. All right, and it was right. It was a joke. What was going on? It was a joke, and I'll just leave it at that.
Too many cooks in the kitchen. Too many cooks in the kitchen.
I agree, Mr. Napier. You kicked me off the radio for me saying that they won't draft Luka because the Kings fans and Vivek will not get it. Will not take another European or white guy, and that. I said that to you on the radio. It came off a little bit quick. You didn't like it because it was like a race thing.
Yes, right. I didn't like it. I didn't. No,
you did. Yeah, you did not like it. But what I had meant was that to me, it seemed like Vivek at that point was making social decisions and not business and basketball moves, and that was a long time ago.
Thank you for your call. It's always nice hearing from you. I appreciate that. Grant, you wanted Fox gone, and now you want him back. Make up your mind. When did I ever say I want him back? When did I say that? And when did I say I wanted him gone? I never said I wanted him gone. I said that if he's not going to re-sign here, then you don't have a choice. You have to trade him. I didn't say I wanted him gone. I didn't say like, and when did I say I wanted him back? Nate, go. You've got everything is on digital, right? You can click on anything.
Yeah.
Let me know where I said I wanted him back. Let me know.
I believe I was the one that said sit his ass down and get him out of here after he quit on the team against Detroit. Grant, I got to give Wilson some love. Wilson has been trying to get you in this transition all show, so I might as well put it up.
You thought that Zach lives in Sunrise Landing. Yes, you know what? That would be nice. It would be a little bit of a longer commute for Zach, and I'd be a little concerned. But listen, if Zach wants to check out Sunrise Landing, I can give him all the information he needs, and I'll even help him with the website. Zach can go to CalusaSunrise.com. And Zach, listen, with the amount of money that you're making, what I would suggest is this project from Blazona Development, these models to choose from, buy 3 or 4 together, all right? And buy 5 or 6, 7, 8 different lot sizes. And, you can have a golf cart for each home. You can go right across the way. You can go golf. You can go hang out at the country club. If you're on I-5 and it's not a good option, you can take Highway 20, you can take Highway 45, or Zach, I got a better idea. You can buy a couple of the lots, and with the money that you have, it would be easier for you to purchase a helicopter. We'll make a helipad for you, and you can just use your helicopter to go back and forth to practice, and that might even work out best at Sunrise Landing. And here's something else you're going to love, Zach, because I know with your $50 million a year, you're always looking to save some money because you now live and work in California with a high tax rate. This would be beautiful because you have no homeowners and you have no Mellorews at Sunrise Landing. So I'm thinking, like, how can I help Zach Levine save money with all the taxes that he's paying? Sunrise Landing would help that, Zach. Again, think about how much money. If you buy 3 or 4 different lots, 3 or 4 different homes, put them all together.
Build his own course. Build his own golf course.
Yeah, so Zach, do me a favor. Go to CalusaSunrise.com. I think that would be good for you, buddy. That's Sunrise Landing, CalusaSunrise.com.
That is an A+ of a Sunrise Landing read. Doug Christie after the game.
I think that we're starting to understand Zach a little bit better. Like the advancement of the basketball sometimes helps him to get downhill. Some of the plays that we're running has some gravity to it with angles that allows him to get downhill. I think that he's still finding his spots, especially to shoot.
Oh, we lost him.
Because, I'd like him to be in that 10 attempts as well, and he got to 5 tonight. But when he's as efficient as he is like this in the 2-point area, that's the balance that you're okay with. But his gravity downhill is super incredible. His ability to step away, create space, and strong legs to be able to knock down shots is big time. So we love the Zach that we're getting, and we know that there's even more in there. And because when you look at the numbers, some areas like 3-pointers, he can shoot more. And I think that sometimes he lays back a little bit because he wants to also make sure that his teammates are involved, and that's great. But when it's
I'm going to cut it off there. I don't remember Zach Levine ever laying off for his teammates.
No.
He was a go first guy in Chicago.
I didn't understand that. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I'm not criticizing Doug because this is a necessary, required part of your job to talk to the media.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just answer questions because you think you're doing the right thing, and sometimes you're not even fully aware of what you're saying. And I mean that. right? Like, it's not an easy task. People think talking to the media after every game is easy.
Yeah.
It's really not necessarily. And I don't, that's why I don't really put too much into what goes on after games in terms of talk. I was a little surprised this week, and we've talked about this, how Doug spent so much time responding to Zach LaVine's comments about what the locker room was like. That should have been, you know what? Doug should have responded, you know what? I'm not worried about it. It was just after a loss.
He wasn't even asked about it, Grant. He started with it.
Is that right? I was not even aware of that.
Yeah, I believe he started with it when he walked up to the podium.
So he was sensitive about it, which makes it worse, in my opinion, right? Just it's after a game. He's emotional. The guy hates to lose. I love guys that hate to lose. I'm not worried about it, you know?
Yeah. And it was when Doug was doing his, it wasn't post game. It was before the next game. It was his pregame availability.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, before we move on, I've got a little advice for Zach, if you don't mind, because I think this will really help him. Because you know what? One thing I really want to do on this program is I want to help out, you know, the wealthy. I would like to help out the poor. I would like to help out people of different ethnicities, different religions, because, you know, I think that's important, right?
Of course.
So, Zach, listen up. All right. You need a good agent. This is where Connor at Element Mortgage comes in. All right, Zach, there is the QR code for you. And I'm also going to put his phone number up there if that's easier. So, Zach, you can call Connor at Element Mortgage at 916-505-1006. We're talking about a guy that has a lot of experience. Zach, you've got a lot of experience, all-star experience. This guy in 7 years, all right, 1,000 loans closed. We're talking about a team behind him, Zach, that has over 100 years combined experience. That's big time. All right. That's top shelf. So buying a home, selling a home, if you're looking for a real estate agent that is going to get the job done for you, that's your man. And I know Connor's a lot happier tonight with the Kings winning. Give him a call at 916-505-1006. That's Connor with Element Mortgage.
And if you don't, he'll come beat you up with those broad shoulders. Call him this number right now.
Oh, my God.
So, Grant, I think I have vetted this quickly enough. I believe this was Doug Christie's response to the question about Monk and Keon in regards to the starting lineup.
I'm trying to work Malik back in and make sure that he's comfortable and he's feeling good. Like I told you guys in the presser in the beginning, Malik is okay with whatever. He is the consummate professional, and these guys understand winning over everything. So it's something that we will look at as we go. But for somebody who's been out as long as he has with the sickness, and to be 6 for 9, 2 for 3, you know, I'm gonna get on him about the turnovers always. That's just what I do. And he's going to tell me some words that I can't use here, and I'm going to love him for it. But he was fantastic. He played a really, really solid game, and you can see how much that we miss Malik and what he brings to the ball club.
Keon lovers, that wasn't exactly a no. It was a maybe.
Yep. Well, they got a 5-hour flight. They can think about it tomorrow.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Too quick of a turnaround for that long of a trip?
It's a long turnaround. It's not only that, it's an early start time.
Yeah, 4 o'clock.
You know, so, yeah, I mean, all of those things, right?
And you said you got to pack for a longer road trip, too, because it's...
Yeah, that's not that big of a deal. But
you said the packing was. Oh, it's the arriving.
It's for me. It's not for the players because they're basically in sweats for 6 days in a row, and all of their laundry is done for them. And they don't have to dress up, and they'll take one set of clothes in case they have to do something. But no, it's pretty easy for a player to pack.
I'm talking about the buses, because you're packing more gear and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's not for the players, but for the equipment staff and everybody else. Yeah, it is. It's a big deal. It's a huge deal. It is a big time deal. You know what else is a big deal? Deciding where you're going to eat this weekend. That's why I love talking about Bennett's with Prime Seafood and Steaks and their outstanding weekend brunch. Go to Bennett'sRestaurants.com and make a reservation, whether it's the Sacramento, Roseville, or the West Side Grill in Rockland. You get the same quality Prime Seafood and Steaks at Bennett's. And yeah, we're not that far away. Believe it or not, it will be here before you know it. Mother's Day, be thinking about a great option for mom. Yeah, Bennett's has you covered there. Again, whether it's Sacramento, Roseville, or the West Side Grill in Rockland, go to Bennett'sRestaurants.com and get yourself some Prime Seafood and Steaks. You'll be glad that you did.
Amen. Prime rib tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. Don't miss out on it.
Oh, yes.
All right. We're going to bring in our guy with the studio to close us out. Tremaine.
Hey, Ryno. Hey, Grant. How are you
What's
guys?
happening?
What's happening? So I tuned in a little bit late, and forgive me if you guys already mentioned it, but not only did we get a great Kings win tonight, light the beam, much needed, much desperately needed, but I saw the Lakers Bulls highlights.
Unbelievable.
And, oh my goodness me. What? Those are some of the most amazing, crazy, awesome highlights. Cherry on top for the night tonight.
Yeah, the Bulls scored 6 points in 6 seconds, a three, and then they stole the inbounds pass, and Colby White made a three to go from down 115-110 to 116-115. Lakers call the timeout. They inbound the ball. Austin Rivers scores with 2 seconds left. Yep. The Bulls inbound the ball. The ball goes back to the inbounds man, Josh Giddey. And as the clock was expiring, the ball is in the air from half court. Winner, Bulls win by 2 points. Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
That was incredible. Like I replayed it. I'm not even kidding you. Probably 30 times in a row. Just 30 times. The last minute of that whole thing, I just kept replaying it because it is so. It's so glorious. I mean, it's so glorious to see the Lakers lose. I mean, I'm sorry. It's so awesome to see them lose. But also to see a comeback like that. Everyone loves a comeback. Everyone loves a team that is way down. And they were down by 5 with 6 seconds to go. And then they got the steal.
It was remarkable. It was a remarkable finish to the game. No question.
So do us a favor, not just you, Tremaine, everybody out there that complains and moans when there's all these timeouts down the stretch. These are the reasons why. You don't. It's for this 1 in 100 chance that a team's going to come back like that.
Yeah.
Well, and I was watching it. I'm like, oh, they have no timeouts. What are they going to do? Giddey, he just chucks it up, and I'm like, oh my God, he made it.
Of all people, Giddey.
It was like Tyreek Evans' shot to beat Memphis when they won the game. Now the circumstances were different, but same type of shot with the same type of excitement. You know, that the fact that happened in Chicago makes it that much better because you have the excitement of the fans going on. It was phenomenal. Yes.
I'm happy for that. And obviously Herter made a few big shots at the end, and I'm happy for him. Of course, it's kind of like seeing an X out there playing.
And I'll tell you something else. I bet you the fans that left that game early are going to regret that for the rest of their lives because they missed one of the great endings in NBA history tonight.
I'll never forget one time at Arco Arena, my dad and I went to a game, and I had like some kind of a stomach bug going on, but we were down by playing San Antonio. David Robinson was playing, and we were down by 20 at halftime. And I'm like, Dad, I think we gotta go home. I'm not feeling so good. So we leave, and I'll never forget it. I'll never live it down. Of course, the Kings came back to win. It was like the most epic, legendary comeback win, and I missed it at Arco. So the people that left the Bulls game, shame on you. Even if you had a stomach bug, just stick around, watch the damn game.
Hey, it's the second best ending. Over there at the United Center. The first one was the 35-point comeback, right, Grant?
And speaking of leaving the games early, your interim head coach left the Dodgers A's game early and was in the parking lot when Kirk Gibson hit the dramatic home run off Dennis Eckersley.
Yep.
How do you live that one down?
You never let him live that one down. I remember
No.
that to this day. Tremaine, thanks for calling.
Thank you,
brother.
guys. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, we'll next be with you.
Hold on. I
ahead.
got some advice for PK
Oh, yeah,
before we
sure.
wrap up.
Yeah.
Make sure you get a mic that ends with a C, PK. Okay?
Oh my God.
Come on, PK.
Unbelievable.
This guy.
Incredible.
All right.
King's Road Trip. We'll see what happens. Please subscribe to our channel if you haven't already done so. That means you'll know exactly when we are doing content. You'll always be kept up to speed. We look forward to you being with us during these 6 games on the road trip. Kings win. Beam is lit. Yes, Beam is lit.
Amen. Enjoy it. Now comes the fun part, the East Coast road trip, before you wrap it up with 3 at home, Napes.
Yes, indeed. We're at the stretch drive. Take care, everybody. Thanks very much. Bye-bye now.